There's many times in my entrepreneurial journey where I felt challenged to compromise my values. There's times where I have compromised my values. There's times where I compromised my values and didn't know they were values. You have to start setting a standard for yourself at a certain point in life and figure out who you are, who you're gonna be, how you're gonna do it, and what integrity and honesty actually means to you. In my 20s, I didn't have integrity. I wasn't a shyster, but I would shade the truth to get what I wanted. It wasn't an everyday occurrence, but it was no big deal to me. It was part of what I thought success looked like. No one defined success for me. No one showed me the path to what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be. I didn't even know what integrity meant, if I'm being really honest. So I was a salesman, and my goal was to sell and close. And whatever it took to do that was kind of really all that mattered. And that's pretty much how it started. And I remember, the mortgage business was shading the truth to get deals closed. It's what I knew, it's the environment I grew up in, and it's also one of the reasons the world collapsed in 2008, which was like an eye-opening moment for me. I didn't even know that there was a secondary market. I didn't even know that Wall Street bought all these mortgage-backed securities, and I had no idea that they helped create a lot of the things that were happening to the products that we would write, which would include stated or no docs. Like, you would get a loan on a $400,000 house with zero documentation. Okay. I got paid for it. It was cool. It was cool until it wasn't. And it wasn't until I gave my life to the Lord and started to find what my values were, that I started wrestling with the idea of, like, this ain't right. Seeing the world collapse was a tall tale sign that this wasn't right, but I still didn't have my value structure. So as I started to create a value structure, I started to realize what integrity looked like. And then I started to get into some real estate stuff, but I'm trying to train myself to do better, but I'm not there yet. So I remember meeting with a couple guys and, kind of doing this real slick pitch on something that we had and what we're trying to do with it and all these things. And I remember gentleman I was looking to move these houses with at the time looked at the guy that I just did that, beautiful soliloquy to, and he looked at the guy and goes, "That's not true. We don't have any of that." And I was like, ooh, that one burned. But, it was good because I realized at that moment in time, I was left undressed in that moment, but I had to lick those wounds fast and realize that's not the real way to do business, and that's not the real way to have long-term success. Soliloquies and fast talking and persuasiveness, all that stuff's good in its own right. It's just not good if that's what you're trying to do to sell ice to an Eskimo. They have ice. They don't need ice. From that day forward, I started working on telling the truth. I said the truth would be enough, but I had to practice telling the truth. I had to practice what it would look like to give straight up answers, not shade the truth, not, move my eyes, not like, that's a journey, but it was based in values. It was based in what I wanted to become. I wanted to be a guy in any community that people say, that's a good dude. He does the right thing. That was where I was headed. I looked at my life 10 years into the future and was saying, all right, if I was gonna walk in these streets and go get ice cream or go get a slice of pizza or go to the baseball game with my kids, what would be my reputation? And I realized I wanted it to be one of integrity, honesty, and high character. So I started putting those values into place. And I realized that compromising my values for a result never had to be done, because hard work, integrity, doing the right thing is always gonna work itself out. So that was huge for me at that stage of my life, but then learning to tell the truth and learning to tell the brutally honest truth and then learning to live inside of that truth was so freeing, because I don't have to remember what I said. I don't have to try to shade it this way or that way. I don't have to try to figure out the next step to the lie that I just created. There's none of that. It's so much easier. Here's where we're at. Here's what's happening. Here's how it's going. Here's what I think. Here's what I think we should do about it. Here, still solution based, but then also now, as we got into learning to tell the truth, understanding that, hey, there's also a way to tell the brutal, honest truth. It doesn't have to be brutal. It actually can be gentle, and I had to learn how to do that. So you understand there's progressions in life. You know, we go from no integrity, compromising values every day, to, wow, that doesn't sit right, to let's make it better, to let's go on this journey to get this right, to, all right, we're here, but let's now package it so that we can actually reach the people we're trying to reach and make the impact we want to make. So it's been an amazing journey. We're far from over. I'm far from a finished product. I have plenty of things that I can still get better at and improve on, but so can you. And understanding that a journey like that, for whatever it is you're dealing with, is available to you. If it's available to me, I ain't nothing special, it's available to you and the things that you're looking for in life. So just understand, you don't have to compromise your values for anything. I remember we were playing basically a game of high stakes poker in business. And I remember telling one of my closest business partners, who was hearing that, you know, things should be done a certain way to get the results. I was like, dude, you don't have to do any of that. Work hard, tell the truth. Work hard. So now I became a teacher of, hey, there won't be any unscrupulous acts. We don't have to do that. We don't have to slide anything under the table. We don't have to take one off the top. We don't have to do any of that. Everything that's supposed to happen is going to happen, and it's going to happen in the time it's supposed to happen. And you're going to be just fine. And that's been huge. And I think that's the lesson I'm still taking with me to this day, is if we do everything the right way, it's always going to work out.